recently made a frame for my bathroom mirror, and of course, as soon as I was done, my kid said, "I want one too." Here's my daughter's bathroom mirror, and I started asking her some questions about what kind of frame she might like. And as I was asking her these questions, I thought to myself, these are good questions that anybody might find useful when they're attempting to tackle building a frame for their mirror. So I thought I'd put together this video that might help you design and plan your project. I'm going to focus on the first question, how to fasten the frame to your mirror or to your wall. And then in another video, I'll focus on the other two questions. Probably the most important question to consider is how you're actually going to attach the frame to the mirror or to the wall. Three main things are going to help you make this decision, and they are the overall size of your mirror, whether or not your mirror has any wall space available around the edges of the mirror, and also what tools you have available to get this job done. I'm going to go through each option one at a time and help you figure out which one might be best for your particular situation. We'll start with option number one. I've seen a lot of DIY videos where the person attaching the frame glues it directly to the mirror. I'm pretty hesitant to use this method. I like it best when things are securely fastened and I don't have to worry about the frame falling off the mirror. Whatever glue you choose to use, the quality of glue degrades over time. Also consider that you're going to be in a bathroom, and I don't know about you, but I really like hot showers and hot baths, and my bathroom gets really steamy, and that heat is going to loosen up the glue. And so if you can avoid this method, please consider trying one of the other ones. If you need to use this glue method, however, there are certainly ways to make it safer for you. Keeping the weight of the frame as low as possible will always help. So consider using this on small and medium-sized frames. I wouldn't use this on a large frame. But also do consider the thickness of your board. If you use thinner boards, you're going to decrease the total amount of weight of the frame. So if you can, consider using maybe a 1/2 inch thick board instead of a 1 inch thick board. Also, maybe instead of a 1x4, you use 1x3s just to cut down on some of the weight. But you need to be careful that you don't go too thin because some mirrors have little clips at the top that hold the mirror together. Here's a close-up of what those look like, and you still want to make sure that your board is thick enough to cover those clips. Alright, let's move on to the second option. Basically, you're going to construct your frame and then screw it directly into the wall. This will work for any size frame that you need to build. You just need to make sure that you have a little bit of wall space around your mirror so that you can screw into the wall. There are quite a lot more tools that you're going to need in order to fasten the frame to the mirror in this method. I'm not encouraging you to go out and buy these tools. The first thing I do, if I need something, I'll go ask my neighbors or my family members and see if they can let me borrow it. I'm going to show you the gist of how to do this using a piece of scrap board. The first thing you're going to want to do is make a pilot hole with a tiny drill bit, like the smallest one that you have. And then you're going to want to find another drill bit, and this one should be quite a lot bigger. It should be bigger than the head of the screw. You want to use this larger drill bit to create a sinkhole. I put a piece of tape around the drill bit just as a guide so that I don't go too far into the board. But what you want to do is make sure you go far enough so that the screw lies underneath the surface of the board. And you can see the sinkhole with the pilot hole in the center. You might need to clean up with a little bit of sandpaper after you drill this sinkhole. At this point, you would line the board up against your mirror and either use a long screw if you're screwing into a stud, or you might be screwing into an anchor in the wall if there is no stud for you to screw into. With the screw below the surface of the wood, now you should be able to cover it up with some wood putty, give it a quick sanding, and then either stain or paint over it, and you'll never see the hole again. From my own experience, it is easier to completely hide the hole if you're using paint instead of stain. Now on to option number 3. Attaching a frame to a mirror using a keyhole bit is my favorite method to use. It will work for any sized mirror frame that you need to make. You just need to make sure that you have a bit of wall space on the sides of your mirror. I really like this method because you're not screwing through the front of the board. All the work is done on the back side, and so you will never see any holes or any marks on the front of the board. And this also means that it'll look really good if you want to stain your boards instead of paint them. Another reason why I really like this method is because it's the only one that will allow you to actually remove your frame really easily. Once you have everything set up, all you have to do is literally slide the frame on and off the mirror. This allows you to easily clean up if you ever get any gunk or dust in between the frame and the mirror. And also, if you ever want to change the look of the mirror, all you have to do is slide it off. There is no chance of damaging the mirror when you want to remove it. But of course, with all of these pros, there are some cons. And the biggest con is that this method requires the most expensive equipment. You're going to need a router, and that can run you about $150. You're also going to need a keyhole bit, which will cost you about an additional $10. I am not encouraging you to go and buy a router. I actually don't own one. I borrow it from friends and family whenever I need one. Hopefully, if you don't already own one, you can get your hands on one for as cheaply as possible. I'm going to show you the gist of how to use a keyhole bit on a scrap piece of wood. Wherever you want your screw to end up, you're going to need to measure about 1 inch or more away from it, and then that will be your starting point. You're going to drop the keyhole bit right into your starting point, and then you're going to gently, slowly move it up to the end point that you marked. You should have something that looks like this when you're finished. The keyhole bit allows you to put a screw into that big circular section, and then the screw literally just slides where you need it to go. And how this would work when you're ready to put it on your wall is you just line up the head of your screw with that big circular section that you cut with your keyhole bit, and it just slides on and off your wall. The last option that I have for you is a combination of using glue and screws to fasten the frame to your mirror. This would be if you wanted to feel really confident that that frame was never coming off your mirror, and it would involve a combination of options 1 and 2. That's it for this video. In another video, I'll talk about how to actually construct the mirror frame and your options as far as the look of your mirror. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking the video and subscribing to my channel.